All right, we have another live stream. We're doing live streams every day this week. We'll see how they go. 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. So if you're watching this now, you might need to fast forward a minute. We'll wait just a moment to get a couple people in here, and then we'll get going. We'll start off with Bitcoin. Say what I would like to say to keep you kind of alert on what's going on, and then we'll take some requests. So thanks for joining us. Live or not so live. Maybe we'll catch you on a later one if you can't join this one live. Every day this week, 10:30 a.m. We'd like to do probably at least 30 minutes, more likely probably an hour or longer. So thanks for watching, and I will get started. As soon as I get one person in here, we'll get going. All right, looks like we got a people in, so let's get it moving. Feel free to type anything in the chat, but I'm gonna cover a few things first, and then we will talk for requests. Thanks for joining, guys and girls. Okay, Bitcoin on the 4 hour. I got a Bitcoin video coming out shortly, probably during this live stream. I have it scheduled. Just a brief update on kind of the 4 hour chart, what to be watching for Bitcoin, so we can briefly cover this. Watch for the rest of today, right? We want to watch this EMA 200 on the 4 hour chart for Bitcoin. If we close this candle, right, in an hour and a half from now, under this 200, right, it just increases our odds of going back down. But what we want to look for the upside, we have to close kind of, where we are, right? We need to start a new trend here. We have a low, a higher, a high set. We want to do a higher low, and then we need to come back up and do a higher high if we want to kind of reverse this kind of momentum that's been going on really since the top, right? You see how we're continuously moving down here, right? We need to change that, or we're at risk of going lower. I would say probably we're looking at this. Maybe we kind of flirt with the lows here, but 27K is a pretty big level for Bitcoin. Even on the, if you zoom out to the daily chart, you're looking at this kind of zone that we left, right? If you stretch this out, it's a little bit easier to see, right? We're looking at this area. We're stuck back in this zone that we, we're in basically most of March. We tried to get a little more bullish, and not likely, right? It's like our quicksand right here. We're stuck in it. If we fall through this, right, where could we fall through? The weekly chart, the monthly chart, all signal around 25K. Even the daily chart kind of shows that. So we're looking kind of this zone, and it might not look like much on the daily, but if we zoom out to the weekly, it's a much bigger looking level. So that level, go over here, right? You can see this low wick from May, the May drop. You can kind of extend this down a little bit, right? See these peak closing on the weekly for Bitcoin, that's just above 24K. So 24 to 25K is the likely area. Not only that, but you have the 200 week, 21 week, a lot of key moving averages right there, around 25K. If we lose the 27K level on the daily, on the 4 hour chart, right, all eyes are on this zone, right, 24 to 25K, very likely if we fall through there. We've held up here for a long time, multiple weeks, right? I mean, look, these are weekly charts now, weekly candles. We would also lose that 100 week. We'd also lose the 8 week EMA, right? So very likely if we close like a weekly candle under here, that closed at 27.5. If we close under that this week, then we're very likely coming down here. No guarantees. All you have are the odds in crypto, and just trying to improve our odds and show you where the next, most realistic price support would be if we drop through 27. Okay. Do we have any questions so far? Oh, key events. If you're unaware of yet, we have one of the biggest of the month, week, day, all that. The FOMC at 2 p.m. Eastern time today. So that's where will be the funds rate. So 5.25 is expected. Anything other than that will likely shake the markets up, down, sideways. Sideways not so much. Up and down, much more likely. So 2 o'clock and 2:30 this afternoon. 2:30 is when Jerome Powell speaks, and usually that can shake the market more than anything else. Even if this is 5.25 and it comes out as expected, maybe not so much. But if he says something of what is going to happen in the future, or what their outlook is like, that can really, drive markets one direction or another. So could be pivotal times just ahead, and mere hours from now. So pay attention to that. So that's Bitcoin on the weekly, the 4 hour. We looked at the daily. Any altcoin questions? It's not altcoin season. Just side note here, right? We look at this every stream. Try to look at this most every video. Bitcoin season, right? If you don't have this yet, blockchaincenter.net. Bitcoin season at its prime right now. It's at a level 10. If you can see that chart out to the side, right? Level 10. I know my picture blocks a lot of this. But here it is up here, Bitcoin season. It's peak Bitcoin season. Like, alts are not going to outperform Bitcoin during this time, right? It's at least got to slide back up to the yellow, green, blue. If we get up in that area, right, 2030, that's when you can get your major moves, or at least bigger moves in altcoins, right? Right here, early part of 2023, right? Altcoins were doing 2-3x's right in this part, right? We've talked about this yesterday, but I feel like that's important because a lot of people, are big into alts, and that's fine, but it's not the time, right? You're not likely going to miss any major move anytime soon, at least until we start to do something like this, right? That is a good move, right? Or at least be in this zone, right? If you're in this kind of green-blue zone, you can see alts start to blow up. Not in the lower red to yellow zone, not likely, right? So that's where we are. Add that to your watch list. Or your bookmark it on your whatever your browser is, right? Requests. Hello, everyone. A lot of familiar faces. Thanks so much for joining. Been looking at Bitcoin on the short time frame. You can go back and watch. We're looking at altcoin season versus Bitcoin season. We got Jerome Powell speaking, the FOMC, later this afternoon. So going to be pivotal. Could be pivotal moments. Could be just as expected, and not much happened, right? Nobody knows, but just a tip of the day. Let's look at these totals, right? If you have this on your chart, if you don't, add them, right? Total 2, total 3. What's the difference? Total includes everything. Total 2 excludes Bitcoin. Total 3 excludes Bitcoin and Ethereum. So this is the true kind of alt market, right? Total 3. And a shortcut to know if it's alt season, or potentially going to be, is these will reverse in order. So you'll see total, let's just use a simple analysis here, right? Total, let's say, would be even. Total 2, this is for a perfect, alt season starting to begin. Total would be up 1%, total 2 would be up like, say, 2%, and total 3 would be up like 4%, right? These will be in reverse order of kind of what they are now. Obviously, right, this second is not a great example, but if you watch this day over day and track it, you'll notice that total, when we go up, seems to be outperforming total 2 and total 3, right? So just side note on that. If you don't use those, use those. That's a quick, easy snapshot to tell if altcoins are outperforming, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Total 3 needs to be the biggest gainer. We just don't have it yet, right? So, all right, let's get to some requests. FTM is the first one. It seems to be the popular one in the live streams. We did that one yesterday as well, but I will do it again right now. It's down here somewhere. I have a lot of them on the watch list here. We might just have to, there we go. So let's look at the short time frame, right? We can look at the bigger one, and then we'll zoom in. So bigger time frame, we're in danger of a lot of altcoins, not just FTM, of giving back a lot of these gains because there's no more really support down here. We're looking at the 21 week at 41 cents here for FTM. Again, if we close under here, no guarantees, but the odds are that we would have further downside. And where's our next really support? Maybe you could, look to the left here and you find like maybe 38 cents. That's not much, but it seems to be holding as it did back in early March. So maybe we get that again. And then maybe if we go back up, that would confirm as a double bottom. Remember, double bottoms do not confirm at the bottom. They confirm when you make a new high. So we would have to close back above 57 cents to close a new weekly high for that to confirm as a double bottom. And then much higher prices likely on this one. Potential nice little kind of bullish setup here, but seems to be trying to morph into a more of a kind of a descending kind of a triangle versus, the bull flag is what we're kind of looking for. So maybe it does end up doing that. But remember, bull flags can't go back below about half of the flagpole. So if you want to use that, you're kind of pressing. If you get down in this area, you're kind of running out of territory here. So keep that in mind. And also you would kind of lose that 21 week. So that would be kind of hesitation. The 3-day, right? You're kind of still at I would say less key, but you're at kind of the last moving average on the 3-day. Zoom in a little bit more to the daily. You're crossing moving averages to the downside. You're underneath all moving averages. So right off the bat, based on that, if you're under all moving averages, you got to be a little bit more bearish than bullish. Just that's based on definition, right? That's the only reason you would look at moving averages. The 4-hour chart. So for today, you guessed it, underneath all the moving averages. Anytime you're crossing, the 100 over the 200 one way or the other, you're likely going to continue in that direction for at least the next several sessions, if not multiple sessions. And you can see this, time and time again, right? When you're crossing big from one direction or another, you want to cross your moving averages to the upside. Obviously, sort them out least to greatest. And right now we have greatest to least, right? 200, 150, and then EM8 on the bottom. So if you want to, wait and be safe, you got to wait for those to cross. You're going to miss the early runs, but your money's more secure than if you're just to kind of blindly throw it when you're underneath all the moving averages, because you could just, no one knows where the bottom is at this point. So cautious right now for a lot of altcoins because it's Bitcoin season. Hello, right? CRO. The mini alt season is not starting now. many anti-alt season, maybe. So let's look at CRO. I used to have it on my watch list, but I got pissed at them because they made me take all my funds out. They stopped. That's a side note, but CRO, that's the market cap. Who cares? Let's do on one of the bigger exchanges. Also, it's also important to, if whatever you're adding this on your list, on your watch list, you want to be mindful of what exchange you're using out to the right here. You can get some with a lot less volume than others. So, Binance, Coinbase, there's not necessarily, you don't have to use those. It's just, those would be likely the most volume and the most accurate kind of prices. So, just a side note on that. CRO, we're looking at the 4-hour here, right? A lot of these alts are going to look very similar here. So, it's just not altcoin season just yet. So when it does, it's going to be great to look at. But a lot of alts, their patterns look very similar to this. So I'm just kind of briefly checking where we're at here. Altcoin check, just a quick check. Where are you comparative to others? CRO, many altcoins are right around this level, the EMA8. You'd like to be at least above the EMA8 before you can, have a signs of turnaround, right? You'd like to be closer to the 200 week than not. We don't have a 200 week, right, on this chart. So, use the 21 week. If you're under the 21 week, you're more bearish by definition than not. And until you can break above that and close above that, Bitcoin especially, you can get your bigger runs after that, not before it. And you could see perfect rejection back in February, perfect rejection back in late April off of that 21 week, even though it tried to get above it. So until we can close above there, right, probably hands off and a little bit more cautious than, than not. So not a good looking candle here, right? Big sell off. When you have wicks on the upper side, it's selling pressure pushing down on you. Right, so just be careful of that. We want to see a close above the 21 week before we get too bullish again on a lot of these alts. All right, KDA. What's Alluvium? I don't mind doing it, but what is? Let me just try to. You gotta give me the the symbols would be great as well. If you could provide those, so we'll do that. Alluvium request. Weekly, a lot of the younger coins, the weekly charts aren't going to be as helpful. But so zoom into like the 3-day maybe. You can also, use the 5-day if you don't have quite enough data. Put it on the Gaussian channel, see where you're at. Younger coins, less likely to be, struggling right now. The daily charts for the Gaussian channel, you can see where we're at, on the daily chart. Any if you're using the Gaussian channel, if you're red or under it, you're more bearish by definition, right? What you want to see on a 5-day Gaussian channel is that your price action above your channel to turn green, and then you're going to be very likely to continue to the upside. But looking at the 5-day with, younger charts here, right? We don't have a lot of data, so you can't really use that. So daily chart, a lot more fake outs on the Gaussian channel, so don't really like to use that unless it's been around for a while. Then you can get some good info. But daily chart on Illuvium, same boat as most altcoins right now, under all the moving averages. Your 200-day right there at $58. So I would kind of at least wait until we can recapture and close above the EMA 8. That would be kind of the first step. If you zoom out to the daily, you can see we're still in, pretty epic downtrend here. Lower high, lower high, lower high, right? We haven't made any kind of attempt to reverse this trend yet. So at least wait for that. Unfortunately, you're going to have a while to wait for a higher high, right? We got, $65 there. So, long-term accumulation, maybe, but there's no guarantees you don't come back to kind of this base, right? You could, you're looking at, losing this level potentially right now. Now, this week, we'd like to hold this. You have this close right here, back at around $50. You have this close here, but the breakout, right? You see this breakout and then a throwback, bullish retest, right? That's when you know you're going to moon launch, right? This is alt season here. A breakout of a previous key high, a throwback, a bullish retest. The throwback is just a bullish retest of a key breakout level, which we did here by textbook definition. I mean, you're going to moon launch after that. So that's what you'd be looking for, when the next true alt season hits, which I think is still months away, if not longer. But right now we're trying to find a bottom in a lot of these alts. So kind of a big level here for Illuvium to hold this level. Certainly previous breakout level. We want to hold that again. Otherwise, you're at risk of coming back to, this lower zone here, which, 40 to 50, right? It's a big zone, but not a definitive kind of clearly defined levels here, right? So kind of hands off here. You're more bearish than not, right? You're losing momentum or gaining it to the downside right now. So caution on that one so far, right? What else we got? KDA, right? KDA. All right. KDA, we'll get that going right now. Remember to hit the thumbs up button. Help spread the word here if you're watching. So KDA, we must have covered this back in late 2022. So looking at this, right? Probably looking at this on the weekly. Let's go see if this makes more sense. Yeah. So we wanted to, I'm guessing, right? I try to leave up charts so I can see, what if I was correct, back a long time ago. And we haven't looked at this one in a while. So I would guess that we're looking at, I'd have to guess that this is the flip level to turn back bullish again. We got to it, and it seems like we're rejected right off of there. So that's going to be your new level. Again, you got to be above your EMA 8 to be any kind of bullish, right? Otherwise, we're looking at this low here. Right, we're back at this base zone. So, could we go down to this low, right? The low at, 78 cents, 79 cents, potentially. How far down is that? It's not too bad, right? It's another 13%. I would only see that for altcoins revisiting kind of these lows if Bitcoin is going to break like 24K. Maybe that would push it to, altcoins to breaking points. Those would likely be good times to accumulate. Right? When nobody else wants it, that's when you should likely want it. You have to have a system in place because your mind will drive you crazy if you're trying to, trade based off of emotion. You're already on a losing path. So you got to have a system in place, and, your system should not be telling you to, go all in at least when you're like this, right? Let's zoom into the daily, see if it's any better looking. Still underneath all moving averages, so more bearish than bullish by definition. You want to see the trend at least attempt to reverse. So we're trying that right now, right? We're trying to kind of establish this as some kind of a base. We don't want to be peaking out here. So we do not want to go much lower here, or, we're most assuredly going back to a little bit lower, right? So wait for, if you're looking to get in some of these alts, you got to wait for a sign of a reversal, right? You have to at least have I would say a higher high than that. I know that's a long ways to wait, but maybe you can reverse, say we reverse here, we want to at least look for something like this, where you're putting in a low, at least take out these highs, right? Then you got a new high, you come back down, you put in a higher low, right? This is the trend reversal potential signs, right? You need to look for something like that. Not until then, right? If you hate money, you just FOMO in right now, right? If you just blindly throw, right? Long term, if you can stand to buy this and you're a believer for the next 2 years, and you don't need to check your chart again for the next year, then you can buy wherever the hell you want. But if you're trying to buy the best possible time and the most secure time, then you have to wait for a reversal sign out of a lot of these alts, right? Because it's max Bitcoin season here. If Bitcoin wants to go down 10% in a day, these altcoins will get absolutely destroyed. And you're kind of seeing that right now, right? I would say the average, you're down at least 3% across the board today. Whereas Bitcoin is kind of holding 1.5%, right? I mean, just look at the totals, right? Not too bad so far from alts, but you'll see this amplified as Bitcoin dominance increases. So be mindful of that, right? Just looking at requests here. So if I miss your coin or request, you can ask it again. If I'm not answering you, then I'm trying not to ignore anybody in the chat, but just ask again. All right, so question at the bottom. We'll look at coin in a minute. Is it safe to keep more than 15% of Chainlink in your portfolio? Well, maybe after maybe alt season, but now not really. I would keep a majority, right? This is just my opinion. I would keep a majority of earnings in in your portfolio of Bitcoin, Ethereum, mostly Bitcoin or stable coins at this point. It's Bitcoin season by definition. I mean, look at it. We're in peak Bitcoin season. Why would you hold Bitcoin in altcoin season? You probably wouldn't, right? So why would you hold a majority of alts in Bitcoin season? You probably shouldn't, right? It's not in your best interest for ROI, right? And just like up here, if you're up in here in alt season, you probably don't want to be holding a whole lot of Bitcoin. If you're down in here, you probably don't want to be holding a lot of altcoins, right? It's just textbook, right? This is like 101, what you should be doing. If you're going to follow these trends anywhere up in here, then okay, altcoins, fine. A little bit more DCA into altcoins as we start to peak above 25, sure. Then you can start to accumulate bigger alts. 15% Chainlink. Maybe if we get up into the 50 area, there are going to be coins that outperform Chainlink in the early stages, right? Like it or not, that's the facts, right? I love Chainlink, obviously. It's not the best for ROI for the past couple of years, right? It's not going to be the best ROI in the start of the alt season. It's just not. Any kind of alts that have been around for multiple cycles, Chainlink is included in that, will likely underperform for the initial stages, right? What you want to be focusing on are newer coins for the initial stages, the ones that did well in early 2023, right? I don't know them all, but I mean, just go check them, right? You're probably more familiar with some of them than me. But early high RSIs, right? Relative strength, that's what you want to be focusing on now. Right? Just go look at your RSI charts across the board. Compare it to Bitcoin, right? If it's not higher RSI than Bitcoin, which not a whole lot of them are right now because it's Bitcoin season, but as alt season starts to brew and you see that index start to creep up above 25, mind Bitcoin, look at Ethereum, right? You want your alts with a higher RSI than Bitcoin or Ethereum. Otherwise, just hold Bitcoin or Ethereum until proven otherwise, right? So that's just my kind of 2 cents side note on that. So back to, there's a Bitcoin chart. Let's put on a lower time frame. We can even do the 5-minute chart if you want. I used to, the peak of the last bull market, it's fun to put it on like the 1 second chart. You see some crazy moves, but Bitcoin's trying to form a bottom here, at least on this chart, right? See all these lower wicks. You don't want to see this on the top, right? That indicates selling pressure. People are trying to buy here around the 28K level. At least there are buy orders, at least on this chart, but still more bearish than bullish for now, right? Look at the moving averages. Look at your price action. So you can practice on the 5-minute chart and just familiarize yourself with patterns and the way it performs with everything. But realize that a 5-minute chart has far less weight than a hourly chart. Hourly chart has far less weight to it than a daily chart. Daily chart less than a weekly chart, so on and so on, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Coin. Forgot we got the coin requested. I have it here somewhere. Here it is. All right, let's focus on, I like focusing on weekly charts for the stock market. So coin, we're trying to attempt to, form a higher low. Also potential, right? I mean, we got to keep our eye on this, right? We would like to form some kind of inverse head and shoulders, and then we'd be looking at kind of the breakout level above this zone. I know this $100 seems like a nice move. I would say even if we break above 80, and close above it, then we can we pick up some bigger moves to the upside here. But looking at the weekly chart, right, coin trying to find a higher low, rhyming with that, right, inverse head and shoulders potential there, not yet. And again, patterns only confirm after the breakout. This would not be an inverse head and shoulders until, right, you make a higher close and break it. The neckline probably about $92. That would be a pretty good close. If we can close above that, that would probably confirm, assuming that we start to do, one of these in the coming weeks, right? And we start to kind of form this. They can be a little bit more obtuse, right? You don't have to have them perfectly symmetrical, but you definitely don't want to be playing around with these lows, or that would be invalid. So looking at this, right? You have your low here. You have a new set high. Took out this high, so that's good. So now we want to establish a higher low than this. And then you just want to see a breakout of this high, right? That's what we're looking at. And then you'd have a new trend forming. It would break this old trend, right? Like we did in Bitcoin. You have a low, high, higher low, higher high, right? That is your trend shift, right? And that's your new trend. And then you buy the breakout level. If you're a pattern trader, that's when you don't trade it based on anticipation. You trade it when it breaks and when it confirms, and that would really confirm around the $93 level. So watch for that for the long term for coin. I think that'll do well in the long term, especially at the if the stock market trends higher over the next coming years, which some experts are seeing that. Raoul Paul is a big believer in the stock market's going much higher, right? That guy does know what he's talking about, so. Worth noting. That's coin, stock market. We do cover the stock market time to time. So what else we got? All right, 11 a.m. We'll do more. As long as y'all are still watching, I'll still keep going. If I could only trade, that's a good question. If you could only trade with one indicator, what would it be? The Fisher transform. No doubt about it. Fisher transform is mine. The second one, now that'll be it. Maybe the MFI right here, because this is like the RSI, but it tracks volume as well. So that's a good one to use. If you don't use that, you're doing injustice to yourself. But Fisher transform, right? A lot of math involved in this. I would Google this and you could find out all there is to know about it. But this is one of the better ones. Certainly on the when they run parallel, right? When you see this and they start to run parallel to the downside, it can be a little bit late to miss the tops and bottoms, but it's gonna trend very well. You can catch early signs on the daily chart, the weekly chart, but when this triggers, it's called a trigger sell. When the blue crosses the orange, when the blue crosses to the upside, right? Trigger buy, and you can go back in history and just track how accurate this is. You're not going to hit the absolute bottom or absolute top, but it could save you a lot of heartache if you go back in history and just look at where your big reversals are. I mean, go to like remember 2021. I don't know if all of you were there. We're looking at coin here. Go back and look at this on Bitcoin, but it'll work with anything really. You can look at major trend shifts, right? So this will save you on the weekly. It's huge. Monthly is even bigger. Right, when you cross up and when you start to show weakness, right, it'll start to close that flap, and it's not, you don't want to anticipate it, but it's certainly worth monitoring. You want to zoom in time to time when you start to see that. So just a side note on that question. I like good questions like that. Good on you. All right, request. I'm not sure how much history we're going to get on this. All right. So younger coins obviously are, could do whatever the hell they want. I mean, look at that opening candle. Wow. Pretty crazy. I'm assuming this is Chat GPT, right? Um, yeah, maybe this will do well, but the FOMO, I feel like the platform's great. I don't know about the coin. Maybe I'll do some research on this, but I would steer clear of this until it shows like any other altcoin, a sign of a trend reversal. Right now it's in a epic downtrend. I mean, breaking even lows from opening here. So 4 hour, right? Get a heads up, right? If you want to trend, I mean, look at the lack of volume on here too. I know this can change versus Bitfinex, but anytime you see these gaps like this, it's low volume. So you might have to only use the daily chart, but you got to see a reversal before you can get too happy on these. So keep that in mind. So what's the difference? Maybe whoever asked this, what's the difference between CGBT and GPT? Right? Is one do something over the other? Right? I get what I get what it is, but what's the difference? Right? That's what I'm asking. Also, if you want to know, or if you want to, you got to request your exchange if you want me to use a specific exchange, because they can vary greatly in volume. So this one actually looks all right, at least for the short term. The past several days, right, looking pretty good. Nice little uptrend. This is what you want to look out for, reversals, right? This is a reversal when you move your moving averages up like this sharply, and you start to hold these upper moving averages. That's a sign of power, right? So now we're looking much better here. So on the 4 hour, looking good. What you just, if you want to buy this, right, you buy anywhere here and just put your stop loss right there. You always want to be trading with stop losses unless you're in for the super long term and you don't care what it does. But that's up to your own risk. But if you want to buy this, you're in a little bit of an uptrend here, at least on the 4 hour chart. So you shouldn't be making a lower low here, right? Nice move to the upside, right? Initial kind of move down. And now we should move back to the upside, right? If we break that, you're going to really take off, I would say. So if you're buying here, fine. Just put a stop loss here and, you're risking, minimal to the downward side. And this doesn't just pertain to this coin, right? You can use this on anything. So, that's 15% to the downside. Does your risk tolerance take that? If not, then you got to be more patient. And, maybe it comes down a little further, maybe it doesn't, and you miss the move, and then you just buy the breakout, right? Hey, what's up? Trust, I recognize you. You got a lot of familiar faces in here. New Zealand. What time is it over there? It's gotta be not this time. All right, ape request. Might as well go to Binance. All right, we're on the 4 hour. Let's look at we'll just start at the monthly, then zoom into the weekly. Not enough information, right? Weekly, right? You should, based on everything I'm saying, where are you leaning, right? We're in a downtrend. We're under all the moving averages. We're more bearish than not. Until you start showing signs of a reversal, right? We may have it. We may. Why do I say that? Well, hopefully you can spot this too, right? Here's your low. There was your previous high, right? Or you can argue that. And we took, both of those out. We have set a low and a new high. And now we're looking to set a new low. Do we have it yet? No. We won't know if the low is in until we take out the high. So if we go back to the upside, we must take out that candle, right? That closed at 623. So if we close above 623, then, reversal has started, right? This downtrend has ended. And by definition, you are starting a new trend. You have a low established, a higher high, a higher low, a new higher high, right? And you're going back to the upside. Until then, right, we don't know if the low is in just yet. We're hoping, right? We're hoping that was the low. And this is the start of the reversal, but you don't know. So you have to wait by definition. Sometimes you need to zoom in a little bit, right? The 3-day, the 1-day, right? The daily and the weekly are probably my two most, I look at the most. Occasionally you want to zoom out to the monthly. Occasionally you want to zoom into the 4-hour, right? All that good stuff. But for the most part, daily and weekly, you can get a pretty good feel for where the coin's at. Even on the daily chart, underneath all moving averages. How about the 4-hour? Any sign of reversal there? No, underneath all moving averages. So you can make it really simple, right? You don't have to over complex and look at 17 indicators, right? Just look at the chart. With just moving averages, it'll tell you if you're bullish or bearish in any sense of the word. And I mean, bearish here, right? You can invert the chart, and how are you going to argue with that's not bullish, right? If you invert this, looking good, looking like it wants to continue that direction, right? But unfortunately, this is the right side up. Ape, I've just kind of, this caution right now. It's Bitcoin season, not alt season. You don't want to be having Bitcoin during alt season. You don't want to be having a whole lot of altcoins during Bitcoin season, right? 3 a.m. Holy hell. Why the hell are you up? Are you up late or are you up early? So have you slept, or you're just waiting up for this time? You can't go to bed until you see Chase's live stream. All right. Dot. Yeah, we can look at Dot and. Oh, okay. Good point. All right. That's worth. Man, what are you going to wait up till 6? You want to see what Pal says? I mean, we get 3.5 hours. I mean, you might as well catch a cat nap. All right. Let's look at whatever I just said. Dot. I go on tangents and then I forget where the hell I'm at. Dot is here somewhere. Here we go. Sometimes I have to find them. And again, if you're feeling down on your alts because they're are in the shit list right now, don't feel bad, right? It's Bitcoin season. A lot of alts look similar to this. What you'd not want to see is your alt doing much worse than the other alts, right? You don't want to see an alt on the weekly chart looking like this. That would be rough. And we're not that far, right? Looking at this, right? We're still underneath all the moving averages. So again, it's not alt season. Alt season is not close. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But accumulation for the long term, yeah, we're back at the base levels for a lot of these, right? Look at Dot, right? We're here. We're at the base zone. Not that you can't drop through it, but if you're a believer in whatever coin you're looking at for the next 2 years, right? The bull run, I feel like, will go through 2025. I think Bitcoin will likely peak somewhere in 2025. So if you're bullish on Dot or whatever coin you're looking at, and you think it's going to be higher in 2025, which should be pretty easily to say yes, then accumulation at the base camp, right? Not at the mountain peaks, but back at the base of the mountain. Never a terrible idea, but why rush it? Why not wait and see if we come back down here? Why not wait for a reversal? I'd rather you miss the early part of a bull run and be safe than gamble here and it goes to $4 and in July, and you're like kicking yourself. You could have bought so much more down here, right? So just wait for the reversal. You don't have to wait on the weekly chart like we've been saying. Wait for the daily chart or the 4-hour chart, something to show a trend reversal. We have potentials across the board here, as you're seeing, right? We've made new highs, back in early parts of 2023, February, January, February. A lot of coins put in like new highs not seen in a while from the previous downtrend bear. Now we're waiting to see if we have established higher lows. We don't know just yet. On the weekly chart, we don't know if the low is in. Is that low in? Hopefully. If not, right, a lot of these alts will revisit their lows from, late December. So just, it's caution right now. Long-term accumulation, dollar cost average, sure. But, going 50% of your portfolio from stable coins over to altcoins right now is not in your best interest. All right, what else? ACH, request on ACH. Anybody else from, other countries besides around the U.S.? Well, I know we have some Europe. We've seen Anybody from, really far away, or, I don't know, South America? All right, ACH. Weekly chart looking good, better than most. Better than most. We're looking to hold the 21 week. I would say if you get a shot to buy down there or anywhere here, or if you want to buy here and you don't want to wait, you got to buy today. That's fine. Just have a stop loss kind of under the 21 week. That'd be a tight one. Or you can, if your risk tolerance takes it right over here, right? You can see this double wick, right? You can see that. If we go down there, maybe we bounce off of that just like we did back in March. Otherwise, we're looking to establish a higher low, and the logical place on any chart is the 21-week EMA, certainly in a bullish uptrend. Nice move off the lows from ACH in all of 2023. I mean, look at this low to the high. We went 600%. I mean, we're still up a good bit, right? We're still up around 300%. So nice moves, right? Hopefully you didn't buy up here, right? I think you'll get bailed out, but you want to not try to refrain from buying massive green pumps, right? You want to wait. If you miss this move, you can't FOMO in. You have to wait for the throwback, right? I would say a good throwback level is right around this 2250 area, or this 21 week if you're feeling frisky. The 2730, right? You can see on the top here the EMA ribbon, right? 2730, 27, something like that. But if you close below that, you're probably going to at least test this again. If you close under this, you don't have a whole lot of established base here. Maybe you're looking at somewhere in this kind of zone in there to accumulate more, but no guarantees that this stops. But if you're a long-term believer and you want to add, maybe you bought anywhere under here and you're still up a good bit. That's fine, right? Maybe you just want to add to your position a little bit more. Again, don't do it on these big green candles. Wait for a throwback and a retest of a key level. Bullish uptrends tend to hold on 21 weeks, but a lot of these altcoins are going to depend on what the hell Bitcoin wants to do over the coming weeks, because it's, Bitcoin season, as we've stated, as many times as we can on a live stream. It is, we're at 10, right? You have to wait for alts to boom. You're going to have to be above 25. By definition, I would say more towards, 30, 40 before you start getting, these kind of moves again. If that index gets to, 30 or 40, absolutely, this will happen again. These kind of moves, right? This is what you're looking at when that index gets above 25, 35, 40, many alt runs, right? That's still not altcoin season. Altcoin season is melt your face off week after week after week. 2x, 3x, right? That's altcoin season. I mean, people just misinterpret what the hell alt season is. Altcoin day, altcoin week, that's what this is, right? This is mini. Real altcoin season is the happiest that you could be. You could throw darts at a dartboard and you're going to make money, right? That's an alt season. Austria, holy hell. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Yeah, we could certainly see, someone says Bitcoin could pump above 31K today. Based on what Pal says, I think we best case scenario, I wouldn't doubt that for a second. Worst case scenario, we could plunge under 27K. As we said earlier in the stream, if we go under 27, I think we're going to 25-ish area, right? Just because we held this for so long, right? So we're kind of looking at this zone. If my mouse would work. We're looking at this zone, right? We're just in here for a long time. So anytime you hold an area for a long period of time, it becomes a bigger deal when you break that area. So if we break it to the downside with a close, right, we could wick anywhere. And don't be surprised if we wick up and down today when in anticipation of the news at 2 p.m. Eastern time. We still have a good bit of time. Go to sleep if you're in the New Zealand. But just my opinion, if we break 27, we're going to back to 25-ish area. If we can even wick higher than, I would say, 30K, we have a good chance to, visit fresh local highs here in the coming days. If not even, hours. We could see an ultimate kind of, remember this candle? If you're watching this guy a few days ago, This one right here. We're the low of 27, the high of 30,000. Right, that was a wild day, and that all happened within I feel like hours even. I feel like maybe 4 or 5 hours this was going on. Huge price swings. That would not surprise me at all if we get that again today, to the downside, to the upside, maybe even tomorrow, right? Or through the weekly candle, right? What's the weekly candle looking like today? Maybe we wick up to 31, go back down and close at 27, or go down to like 27 and wick up and close at 31, right? Something like that. Certainly on the cards with FOMC, you never can tell. All right. Look, just reading through the chat. If I'm like silent, I'm not. I'm just reading the chat. Okay. So, looking in the next 3 months, should we convert yen to USD, or better to sell? If you're earning a percentage of interest, if you're earning 10 to 15%, that's great. Not sure I understand the question, but over the next 3 months, we got to wait to see what Bitcoin does. If we're going to break to new fresh highs, you'd want to see, before getting into heavy altcoins, we're going to have to break back to the upside. I don't think it's super far away from happening. We don't tend to just spend months and months down here, although back in 2019 we did, right? Look at this. We came down here and we just trended really Bitcoin season for multiple months, but that was the longest. There weren't nearly as many altcoins around then as now, so I don't anticipate that happening. But maybe something like this, where we kind of come down here and just start to slowly move up again, right? And if we start to see that, then maybe come back over to altcoins a little bit more heavily. But Bitcoin or stable coins, or if you have another way of earning interest, for now, that is your best bet, in my opinion. A lot of people ask me all the time, like, what's my opinion on, what X project? I don't really have opinions on projects. I look at the charts and then I chart for my opinion. Fundamentals are great, but if anything, I'm focusing less on fundamentals for projects and more on the charts. Price is king. If you're here to make money, right, the charts will tell you which ones are going to make you the most money. So fundamentals are great for the long term, maybe. But if there's any coin ever that has great fundamentals and lack of ROI on your wallet, look behind me, right? So focus on the charts. If there's great fundamentals, the price action should reflect it. If the prices are going up and the charts are looking strong, why would you not be in that coin no matter what it's doing? Even if it's a meme coin, right? If it's a meme coin and you have the ability to make money and you have a good buy level and the charts are showing you good levels to get in, or good profits and good signs and good setups, who cares, right? You're here to make money, follow the money, follow the charts. Thanks everyone for being here. Greece, nice, man, all over. I appreciate you all coming in here. So we're gonna do more live streams. I'm not done, so don't wrap up, don't leave. I'm gonna do more live streams. This week, every day this week at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. I know that if you're in a different country, the time is whack. Maybe next week we'll try a different time, but this works out pretty well for me consistently. 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. Tomorrow and Friday, we'll try to do that. We'll see how the live stream's going. So far, decent. Earlier in the week, today, about the same. We'll see how it goes. I just feel like live streams help more people. Obviously, making videos gets more views, but I feel like I can cover obviously a lot more in live streams, and I get interact with all the wonderful people from all over the wonderful world. Cool. Retarded. All right, AGIX per request. I know I have this on my chart somewhere, but I'm not going to try to scroll through it. All right. So any kind of, if you pull up a weekly chart and it looks like that, you can't use the weekly chart. You don't have enough data. You got to have a bunch of data. So looking like every other altcoin, right? Every other altcoin is pretty much, for the most part, below all the moving averages. So you're hesitant to be, buying heavily now. Dollar cost averaging, okay. You got to keep an eye on these previous lows. But I would say even zoom in even more to like the 4-hour chart here. Right, and you can see if you're not zoomed in enough, right, it looks like you're in free fall here, but you got to zoom out, right, or use that daily chart. We're at the lows, right? We should be holding somewhere between where we are now and here. No guarantees, right? And if we lose this low, right, you have nothing to go on. So this is why it's a little bit more risky to be buying, at least heavily, when you're in a downtrend. And we're in a downtrend. We have been, even on the 4-hour chart since, mid-March here, right? No signs of reversal just yet. We will need to have a higher high and establish a base here. This is the only thing you can get, right? With younger coins, you have to zoom way in and it becomes less stable because the hourly chart is much less meaningless, much less meaningful than a daily chart. Daily chart means less than a weekly chart as far as, strength and, confidence and, fractals to play out, right? So looking at this on the 4-hour chart, I would say, this needs to hold. Otherwise, you're in free fall below. You can zoom in even to the hourly chart. If you're looking for a reversal, I mean, it's going to show up in the hourly chart before anywhere else, right? So that hourly is probably the first I would, the last stop, right? You don't want to be trading anything less than the hourly. And even the hourly is pretty sus. But look at this on the hourly chart, right? Just wait till we get back above here. Right, there's a nice little flip zone, right? Your previous kind of, support area zone broke through, came back, tested as resistance. So that'll be in the next level on the way back up on the hourly chart. So 32 cents breakout level, set your alert. If you don't know how to set alerts, you right click. If you're using TradingView, add alert, and then just type in whatever you want. So 0.3, well, you got to clear it out first. 0.32, Jesus. 0.32, you get the price right and then it'll alert you. If you put $32, you might have some ways to wait. You get the damn drift. Okay. My dot is not working. Right, 0.32 in there, and then you can set alerts like that, and then you don't have to watch it every 2 seconds, right? Especially if you're wanting to buy, you have a key level, set your alert at a key level, and you can go back to your gardening, right? That's all you got to do, right? So hopefully that helps you. Watch for key levels on the short time frames, but that you want to have a bigger picture in mind, right, of what you're looking at. So there you go. Hopefully that helps, right? And a lot of things I say aren't just according to, that specific altcoin. Could be very helpful to, know all this for, pretty much any chart or any altcoin. Glad to be helping someone. Dominic, thanks so much for watching. QNT, yep. We can do QNT. I know I have it on my chart, but this is faster, I believe. All right, Quant. I think this should do well long term. Obviously, I've talked about Quant in the past. Let me remove that, and we'll get to it. Quant, I think this will do well long term, but again, now is not really the time to be 100% into alts. It's Bitcoin season. Looking at this chart, right? I mean, look at the lows here. So we shouldn't be taking out these lows. There's a low, there's a higher low, there's even a higher low. We don't want to break that, right? Otherwise, I mean, look how far back you got to go that you're kind of breaking this trend, what it's doing here. Here's a low. It's been making higher lows ever so subtly, even between November and December. So I would say all eyes on this kind of close. 10, where this closed at 105. That closed at 105. That's where I'd watch. So if you want to buy here, you're okay. Realize it's probably coming back to somewhere in here, but it's visited there already. So this absolutely should not be closing below 105. If it does, that's a big warning, right? So right there. So if you want to buy here and your risk tolerance takes a cut at 105, I would cut at 105, in my opinion. Right, but tight stop loss here if you're going to be playing with fire. And make no mistake, if your chart looks like this and you're under all moving averages and you're buying here, you're playing with fire. This is not how you should be doing it. But if your risk reward ratio is pretty good at 105, if we come back down here, maybe we bounce, maybe you put your stop loss, if your risk tolerance takes it, under that wick or under these wicks, right? Imagine those are straight lines. So these lower wicks, if you have a stop loss, right, maybe you wick higher, or if your risk tolerance can take it, I would go with that one. Because if we wick down, and then we get this, epic bounce like it, tends to do, right? These streaky coins can, get off to the stratosphere before you're ready for it. So just depends on your risk tolerance, your trading experience, all that good stuff. But we're approaching the base to where, that's where you want to be buying at support. This one, Quant, looks like it's got a pretty decent base kind of right in this area here. So 105 all the way down to kind of the 100 psychological human $100 round level. So 100 to 105, buys as long as you're willing to put in a, decent stop loss, or not care if it goes lower and you're in it for the long haul. I feel like I drink an insane amount of water when I'm talking. My mouth goes super dry as I talk. So apologies if I take too many sips of water. Scotland, man. I feel like maybe we have more out-of-country USA than in-country USA. Maybe I'd ask who's from the USA. Is there anyone even from the USA? I feel like almost everyone watching is not from here. We have Scotland, New Zealand, Greece. Amazing. All right, I'm sure I'm missing one. INJ we covered yesterday, but we will look at it again today. Hello. I think we looked at this one yesterday. All right, so nice uptrend on the weekly starting in 2023. This one's off to a hell of a start. So from the December lows, from the December lows to the highs, we're at 700%. Even now, we're still up almost 500%. Nice 6x there, right? That's pretty impressive. If you caught any of this uptrend, you're doing well. So look at this. This is a good textbook example of if you miss this initial move, you can't buy this candle. You have to wait till a throwback. Where the hell, how do we know that this wick came back here? Well, why would it hit that? That's the 21 week. And I mean, look at the previous candle, right? It's almost always any kind of a breakout of a previous, long-term resistance is going to almost always retest that level. You have an open order there, it will very likely get filled. If it doesn't, your coin's super bullish and it's just going to go. But almost much more often than not, a key breakout, you're kicking yourself for not catching this move. You just be patient and wait for the breakout of especially if your breakout is at where the 21-week EMA is and at support. I mean, that's going to get hit more oftentimes than not. So instead of buying at $4 or $4.50 or whatever up in here and getting too frothy, you got to wait. Have your open order at $2.60. Don't be too greedy. $2.75, right? Maybe even wicked up to here to $3. Maybe you got your order at $3, right? It gets filled, and then you don't panic right after, because you're not going to try to time the tops and bottoms. But nice move, and you could have got in, still, even if you got in at $3. Yeah, I mean, you're still up over 3x from now, from then, right? So you're still doing that. So use that. This will happen many more times for the bull run. When altcoin season starts, you can see a lot of coins do this. So if you missed the initial one, realize 21 week, especially if it's at that kind of a previous breakout level right there. That's textbook example of how to do it there, right? And even though if you missed, you could still make a hell of a lot, right? And this isn't even altcoin season. This is like altcoin days, altcoin week, right? Altcoin season will blow this out of the water. So early coins like this, right? Back on track. We're holding anytime you're above the EMA 8, bullish, right? By definition, above the EMA 8, it's closed above the EMA 8. The warnings would come if you close below the EMA 8, and it doesn't mean it has to reverse, but that's where you generally want to, pay more attention above the EMA 8 on the weekly, on the 3-day, 5-day, whatever. But the daily, right, you could start to get your warnings too, and not necessarily at the 21 week, because you need to look where it reversed before. So a lot of coins will have different levels that it likes to bounce from. So, INJ, we're looking at the 50-day EMA right there. So I would, and then look at where it held next time, a line higher on the 34, the EMA 34, almost textbook here, right? A perfect bounce off of here, perfect bounce off of here. So really, we should be bouncing off the 34 because it did back here, but I would give it a little bit of breathing room and say it can come back to the 50, around 650. If it breaks that, right, we're likely reversing this uptrend, at least for the short term, and then maybe you get some better chances to buy down, you know, wherever, maybe the 200, something like that. But, you know, watch for this level, right? This is how you do it. This is how any professional does. There's no coincidence that that wicked right there, right? You know, pros or swing traders, big hedge funds, you know, whoever's tracking this is having open orders right here, right? That's how that works. That's why you get these wicks, massive influx of capital coming in, pushing it back up, bouncing perfectly off of EMAs, right? That's what's happening, right? Look at the EMA bounce off the 200. And it's not that you know it's going to bounce, it's that you have clear cut levels, right? You want to maximize your risk reward ratio, and buying at support is how you do that. It's not by buying randomly at, you know, a random green candle. So here's your support level for INJ. If we come back here, it could just very well bounce off of the 34. So maybe you try a little bit here, stop loss, you know, under here. And then if it comes down a little bit more, right, just add a little bit more at the 50, right? That's how I would do it. And that's how a lot of the pros do it. Caution here is, what's my cautious? That we could be rolling over is this guy right here, right? We've been, you know, looking at, you know, pretty steady uptrend here, and then what happened? We came down. That's not the cautious. It's right here. We failed to put in a higher high again, and now we are our potential. We have a start of a potential downtrend, right? We have a low, a lower high. So if we close lower than this high, right, that closed at 688. So if we close lower than 688 on a daily chart, then that trend by definition is over, right? The uptrend is over and a new trend is starting. We don't know where that trend will end, you know, if it lasts for another couple of days, but that's what you want to watch for, to be ahead of the curve, right? Just want to outdo the guy on the other end of your trade, right? There's always two people trading, at least, right? So if you're going to get out, right, that's a good stop loss area. If you close under 688, and again, this is not just for INJ. Hopefully you're finding value out of this in any coin. This is what you look for. Your warning is you missed a new high. So this is a potential. It's not a confirmed double top or whatever the hell your favorite shitcoin YouTuber is going to tell you. A double top, this, if you're going to call this a double top, okay, but it's only potential now. When does it confirm? When you make a new lower low. So if we close here, that would confirm as a double top, and then, you know, you're likely rolling lower. So remember, double bottoms, double tops do not confirm until the opposite, you know, low or high is taken out. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. Why don't we look at altcoin Bitcoin pairs? Well, I do, but none of them look very pretty right now, so you're not going to want to see them. I do track altcoin Bitcoin, and also no one's requested it, so you can see all my altcoin Bitcoin pairs here, right? Track that. So just side notes, what are the top 5 best performing altcoins all time against Bitcoin? I'm glad you asked. Number 1, I bet no one will guess it unless you watched that video that I put out. You know, the top 5, you're looking at them right there, right? And not in order, but that's them. Chili's, Axie Infinity, MATIC, Engine, BNB. Which one of those is the best performer against Bitcoin? Well, all you'd have to do is look at the chart. Don't cheating. Well, I'll just spoil alert. It's BNB, if you can believe that or not. Binance coin. It has made the biggest gains on Bitcoin out of any other coin in history. And it's not even close. It's like way, way up, right? I mean, just look. I mean, you gotta almost look at the monthly chart here, right? Look, this is against Bitcoin, so it has nothing to do with USD evaluation. But, I mean, look at that uptrend against Bitcoin. So from even, I mean, you can cherry pick and, you know, your data from the low or the high, but I mean, look at the, you can't even, you have to squint your eyes to see what the hell number of percent gain that is. So BNB is outperformed Bitcoin like no other, quite literally. But it is often worth taking a peek at your altcoins against Bitcoin, right? If you're going to pick an altcoin, you want it to be outperforming Bitcoin over the long run, right? Here we're looking at MATIC, MATIC against Bitcoin, right? We're looking at a, potentially massive breakout if we can, close above the kind of that 6,000 area, 6,000 Satoshis for MATIC. We're going to see probably some more fireworks here, just like this, right? If you clear big zones, right? I mean, look at the resistance, and then you broke it, retest, and kaboom. And same thing likely if we, if it's a big if, right? Nobody knows anything, but I mean, the MATIC's got a pretty bullish setup, and MATIC is one of the top performers against Bitcoin ever. So keep that in mind, right? So thanks for bringing up the alt Bitcoin pairs, but I didn't look at them because no one requested them, and because most altcoins against Bitcoin right now are not fun to look at, certainly on the daily charts. And I mean, look at MATIC against Bitcoin on the daily chart, right? Pretty much, and this is one of the better ones. So that's why. Let's go take a snapshot at Bitcoin here. So Bitcoin, look at all these lower wicks. So it's trying to hold. It's doing its best to hold that zone, right? Even on the 1 hour chart here, right? You can see, I mean, look at this flip level, right? So it's trying to hold at the top of this zone. If not, right, we're probably coming back down to, mid to high 27s, right? This is on even the hourly chart. You can get good heads up on a lot of things, a lot of trend reversals on shorter time frame charts. But like I always say, and like you should be aware of, like if the more you zoom in, the less likely anything is to play out, the less weight you need to put into it, right? So if you see something on the hourly chart shaping up, and it looks, the same kind of pattern on the weekly chart has much more likelihood of, worth noting, right? Man, Malaysia too. Okay, we have a couple people from the U.S. I think the U.S. people are getting hammered on this stream. We have a New Jersey and a Florida. Maybe a Tampa Bay fan. All right, what else do we got? 18 people streaming. Thanks y'all for joining. We're doing this, if you're new to watching the stream, right, we're going to do this every day this week, 10:30 to 11:30 at least, on ESPN. No, I'm just kidding. On 10:30 a.m. Thursday and Friday, and we'll see how that goes. That'll be every day this week, right? You can catch my other live streams from the other 2 days if you want to see other altcoins or what I said about those. I pretty much, I did at least like 20 or 30 altcoins, the previous two. I think we've done close to that now. FTM BTC, right? We can do that. That's a good request. I don't think I've seen that one yet. I remind you, it's probably not going to be pretty. All right, so let's start off let's go to the weekly. Put it on auto, right? Not too bad. Hey, look at that. So yes, this is what your altcoins want to be doing. If you want to go big into altcoins, please make sure it's in an uptrend since inception, or at least recently, right? You can zoom in a little bit more, but it needs to be, for the most part, aiming up. You don't want to be getting into coins, or at least use a lot more caution if your coin looks like that, right, against Bitcoin, and there are a bunch, right? So is the stream looking okay? I just got an error message that the stream is experiencing lag. If it ever looks bad, like, say something, because I don't always know. Hopefully it sounds okay. Hopefully it still looks good. It looks okay, but I'm getting an error message from YouTube that just popped up. So if it looks sketch, let me know. But yeah, this is what you want to be looking at. FTM is actually looking in, predominant uptrend against Bitcoin. Excellent. It's an excellent sign there. So it gets my stamp of approval. Look at it held like a boss on the 200 week. Even more bullish sign there. So if we get a retest of that, maybe we're looking at a little bit higher, right? Absolutely. If you've got some Bitcoin and want to convert it over to FTM, spoiler alert, it'd probably be somewhere in that area, right? Just like we did back here. No guarantees it gets down here, but the weekly is looking a little weak at the point. So if you want to maximize your Bitcoin or or your FTM against Bitcoin, right? Buying it right there, right? Or converting your Bitcoin to Phantom right here. Yeah, right. I mean, look at the chart. I mean, it's like almost like a stupid simple setup here, right? Here's key support. And just because you're buying here, don't expect this to come 4 seconds after you click buy, right? I mean, look how many weeks we just chilled down here. But, you know, buying anywhere around here, like what, 1,200 Satoshis? Maybe even start your DCA a little bit higher just in case, like we want to hold that low. You know, so 1,200 to, you know, yeah, I would say right in there, right? So hopefully that makes sense. But looking good. That's what you want your coins to look like, right? Uptrend against Bitcoin. You know the daily chart's not going to look good on pretty much anything against Bitcoin right now. It's Bitcoin season. All right. So, all right. It looks like it's maybe okay. All right, Missouri, we got another USA. Okay, so what does the 5-day Gaussian channel on Bitcoin look like? Let's go look. Right, we've looked at this. We can do it again. Right, 5-day Gaussian channel for Bitcoin. We have to turn on the damn channel. Right, there we go. All right, so we're potentially gonna flip this in the month of May. I would say, right, we have 2 days, 9 hours until this candle closes. Could we do it then? Maybe. We have to hold, all we have to do is hold price action above 25K, which also, remember 25K from our monthly chart and our weekly chart as being major support. You now have another reason that 25K would likely hold is the top of the 5-day Gaussian channel, right? This big time. If you get this channel to turn green and prices are still on top, it doesn't mean prices go up immediately or even, you know, have to go up at all. But for the long-term buys, buying when the Gaussian channel on the 5-day turns green and your prices are above, this is usually what happens, right? Right, something like that. I don't think this is gonna go that crazy, that quick, right? But you know, we could even have something like this. But would you be pissed off if you put all your money into Bitcoin at $11,000 and just held for 2 years? Right? No. So July 2019, you bought Bitcoin at 11,000. You went through some shit, right? Just ahead of you. But, you know, fast forward 2 years to July 2021, right? You're still okay. Even with this drop, you're still up how many? You know, you're still up like 3-4x, even with some of the most catastrophic drops ever, right? This is long-term safest system you could possibly do. If you only buy when the 5-day Gaussian channel turns green with prices above and only sell when the 5-day Gaussian channel turns red with prices below, right? You're not anywhere close to the tops or bottoms, but it saves you a hell of a lot of panic to the upside and to the downside, right? So, you know, that's just my 2 cents on that. But yeah, we're probably in the next couple of weeks going to turn green as long as prices remain above 25K, to put it, you know, simple, right? All you have to turn this channel green, it's not anything special. The channel just has to move up. It's just moving averages combined with a lot of other math. But that's what we're looking at. So as long as we remain above 25K, over the next coming weeks, it could even happen in 3 days. I don't know. It looks like it's on the verge of doing it, right? It looks pretty damn flat right now. So we could absolutely turn this green with prices on top in the next couple of candles, right? So keep that in mind. If we turn this green, I don't care what prices do. For the long term, it's go time, right? For the long term, for the next year to 2 years. Could we do another, you know, a black swan event and some bullshit like this, even though we buy up here, right? Yeah. Could you buy Bitcoin at 30K and it goes back to 20K or, you know, something like that for the long term? Yeah, but it takes the panic out. It takes the emotion out. How much easier would your life be? And if you're to just, you know, buy when you're confident that that's a decent price for the coming years, right? And that's what this is for, right? So that's where we're at for the 5-day Gaussian channel. Hopefully that makes more sense. Oh yeah, theta. Yeah, we'll do theta. I thought I saw that. We can do theta. If I have, I'll go back in a minute. I've seen theta a couple times. So, then SUI. Remind me if I forget. Theta I have down here. It's on my watch list. That's not it. Let's just add it. Threshold's another one though. All right, so we can remove the Gaussian channel. Let's focus on the weekly. We're below all our moving averages, so quick snapshot there. Daily chart, probably still below all the moving averages. Still, yeah, so most altcoins not looking great at the moment, but we're trying to establish, like we said previously, a trend reversal. So we're hoping this is the low, this is a higher low, this is our initial high, but looking like it kind of hesitated right at previous November high there. So we need to take that out, right? That'll be our much more bullish sign for Theta, is if we can take, I mean, that's a pretty definitive level there. So even go at the top wicks, 130, 133. If we can do that, also early heads up if you want to get in more. Wait for, to see if this low is in. You got to wait. Be patient, right? It's Bitcoin season. There's no rush on alts. You want to monitor this high, lower high so far. But also we have a low and a higher low so far. This area, we don't know if it's going to hold or not, right? If it does, right, say we reverse here and then start to move back up again, we must take out this top. Otherwise, we're still in this downtrend. So if we could manage to take out whatever that closed at, 122, if we can close at 122, then we're probably starting to cook again, right? And then if we take out 122, we'll very likely take out 133 and then, much higher highs. But until then, right, we remain kind of trapped here, right? We're kind of indecisive as far as where we're going for the short term, right? You have lower highs, you have higher lows so far, right? We don't know where we're going to draw this yet, right? You could draw it here and then you're already broken and then you're probably coming down. So we're looking to establish this low. So we could come back here and kind of potentially double bottom. But remember, a double bottom does not confirm until you take a new high, right? You have to make a higher high, and then it would confirm as a double bottom. So it's not a double bottom here. Even if you do this, right, you come back and do that, right? You want to be careful about, thinking that things have double bottomed or double topped. Double bottom, right? If we do this, double bottom confirms right here at this breakout. Then that would confirm as a double bottom. And then you're very confident that we will continue higher. Hopefully that helps. All right, what do we got? ETH BTC, good request. Ethereum Bitcoin, I don't think is looking that great as well. Where the hell is it? I need to turn the chat thing up a little bit more. Maybe I'll do that next time. I think the chat's a little bit delayed. I think I have a setting so I can control that and turn that up so it's more kind of real time. I think we've got probably about at least a 10-15 second delay. I know it's there somewhere, but this is faster. All right, Ethereum Bitcoin, right? Worthy pair to be watching. Remove the drawings here, right? Okay, so here we're looking at well, we need to be coming down to a specific, this is a monthly chart now, so we don't want to give this away. This would be bad. 53,000 sats here. This closed at, I don't know why all the hiccups. I guess I'm drinking a lot of air with my water. 53,715 for that low. So we don't want to give that away. And, whenever we get there, remember, these are monthly charts. So if we did that, we'd be in danger of coming all the way back down here. I don't anticipate that happening, right? Let's look at the weekly chart. Ethereum against Bitcoin is likely kind of it's on an uptrend, but we're in danger of kind of rolling here on a multi-year, right? Going back to 2019, we've established this low, and looking, let's kind of draw it here, and easier ways to draw trend lines. You can just put it on the closing prices and then kind of do a rough sketch here. But what you would have drawn is kind of this, and we had this drawn, months ago when we drew this, is that looking at this trend line, this should have held right here. And I think we were kind of right at the time, early January, we looked at this and said, that was maybe an anomaly. We don't really want to draw that. You want to draw trend lines with the most touch points, and just realize that drawing a trend is to get an idea of a trend and not necessarily a definitive make or break level. but putting it back on the candle prices, right? If you draw it out here, right? Yeah, then you can start to, I mean, look at the touch point there, right? So now you have 1, 2, 3. It's still not broken, but then like how many times are you going to kind of refit your line, right? How many times before you kind of give up, right? So what are you going to fit it down here, down here, down here, right? So at this point, drawing that trend line is kind of a moot point in my opinion, and I would focus on kind of putting in a higher low from here for the weekly chart, right? We have some ways to go down, but let's say we hit the 200 week for ETH BTC. That would be a good spot to convert some Bitcoin back over to ETH in my book. That's where I would do it right there. It would also kind of maintain this higher low structure, right? And then, maximize your ETH BTC value. And then, maybe we're looking at, something like this over the coming, weeks and months. I mean, look at we're in, Q4 over here, right? October. And then we, the breakout of the neckline kind of in this area, right? And then, maybe ETH makes its move against market cap, and maybe ETH takes out Bitcoin's market cap, in 2025. Who knows? That setup, best case scenario, that could do it. But if you want to maximize your, Ethereum against Bitcoin, I would say, kind of be impatient, maybe till we get to maybe 60,000 Satoshis right in there. If that helps. We'll revisit that. There's no rush on that just yet. 3 people in Missouri. What the hell? Should I go buy a lotto ticket in Missouri? That's kind of odd, right? Especially with that being 30% of the chat. 30% of the chat is in Missouri. That's a statistic for you, huh? No. Okay, so good question. Do I sell Bitcoin when the 5-day Gaussian channel turns green? No, it's the opposite. It's be buying. That'd be a bullish trend. Maybe I misspoke. You sell Bitcoin when the 5-day Gaussian channel turns red, right? And that would be your kind of last ditch effort. And it's usually late to arrive to the bear party. As you can see here, we're already at 38K, so far off of the top. So great for identifying newish bull trends, and we're still way off the bottom too, right? Already 2x off the bottom, but a lot of people are calling for much lower prices still, and are not aware that of what is looming here. Bitcoin on the 5-day Gaussian channel has only had one really fake out in history when it turns green, to not continue in major bull cycle, and that was just the pandemic, and only briefly. But like we said earlier, like if you waited back in here and you still bought like almost the peak out top of this rally, 11K Bitcoin, you fast forward 2 years, you're not kicking yourself too hard, right? You lived through some shit just shortly after, but it's not meant to time the tops and bottoms perfectly. It's meant to make you feel more safe and Sesame Street in your mind. Okay, so it eliminates the horror movies that are in the back of your brain of what could potentially happen if the 5-day Gaussian channel turns green and your prices are on top. You have to have 2 check marks, both of those, and then you're safe, right? You're in comfort land, right? It's locks on your doors in the middle of nowhere, in the countryside, in the peacefulness, versus no locks and a paper thin door in the middle of the hood, right? You're in trouble. And once the 5-day Gaussian channel turns green, you have your locks. And once your prices are on top, you are in the middle of the countryside with no one for miles. Terrible analogy. Yeah, I think slow mode. Well, slow mode is just, someone says slow mode is on. I think that I have that limited to one message every 10 seconds or something like that, so that we don't, if we get a spammer in here, which we're not in peak Bitcoin or not in peak alt season yet, so probably don't have to worry too much. But I have it on slow mode for the chat, so someone can't come in and just type in 78 messages per second like they used to do. But I can turn that. We'll try it tomorrow's live stream. We'll do regular chat, and I'll crank it up so it's almost real time. So when I'm talking, you're hearing it. I think there's probably a 15, 20, 30 second delay here for now. We got another USA in Iowa. Nice. So did I miss any altcoin requests? I don't think I did. If I did, just ask again. 4-day Gaussian channel for Bitcoin. Okay. 4 days kind of random, but I guess it's between 3 and 5, so why not? I would have to add this 4-day, so okay. I'll do it. Okay, 4-day Gaussian channel. Loading. Again, if you're watching still, we have major news at 2 p.m. right? The FOMC statement. So 4-day Gaussian channel turned green. No surprise, because guess what? The 3-day Gaussian channel turned green right before then. So if the 3-day just turned green not too long ago, and the 4-day just turned green not too long ago, what are the odds of the 5-day turning green not too long from now? Probably pretty good, right? So yeah, we're about to get the bat signal. I would call it the bat signal. Maybe I'll put that's a good idea for a shirt. Call it the bat. I might get sued. The bat signal. But then just have the Gaussian channel turn green. That'd be pretty funny. I might do it. Cease and desist from Warner Brothers. DC. All right. So that's the 4-day Gaussian channel. I did it for a whopping 2 seconds. There we go. So yeah, it's turned green. But you know, historically, let's go look. See, there's a fake out right there. So immediately, I'm not looking at the 4-day just as much because there was a fake out when it turned red. Now maybe that gave us a warning shot that the end was near, but you know, hindsight, whatever. But the 5-day, very few fake outs. That's why we use the 5-day. It has the least amount of fake outs, and it's faster than the weekly, right? So let me show you here. For those of you still here. It's 11. Okay, it's almost noon. I gotta go. But we're gonna do this one last time, and then we'll do more on the next chat. So 5-day Gaussian channel for Bitcoin going on the BLX, so I can look at all of history, right? Look at all the fake outs, and you're like, what fake outs? Like there are none, right? When the channel turns red, you're in trouble, right? It's a lagging, and it's too much lagging on the red side if you're waiting for it to turn red. Now, once it enters the 5-day Gaussian channel, even if it's green, you're likely in trouble, right? And that's shown time and time again, going all the way back. As soon as it entered, you're probably not going back, and we've never really gone back once we've entered the channel, right? Enter the channel and dunzo, right? Come out of it, turn green, good, right? Hit the channel again. We didn't even touch it here. Right? Hit the channel again, you're in trouble. Come out of the channel from red to green, and you're good, right? Fast forward, step into the channel, and we're in trouble, right? Come out of the channel, turns green, you're good. For the long run, yeah, but we didn't know what was going to happen here. But even here, right? Channel turn from red to green, and you're good. Hit the channel, and the trouble starts to brew it, right? We got a little bit of a fake out this time, right? That was kind of an anomaly, just like the pandemic. Right, anomaly there, but you know, we're on the verge of doing it again. So hopefully this helps. Put your mind at ease a little bit, because once I see this channel turn green, and likely going to happen probably in the month of May, barring a massive capitulation by Bitcoin, which could still happen, could still be on the books, right? And you know, we're probably going to turn green in the next. I would say next couple of weeks. It could happen in the next couple of days. We have 2 days. I think it's less than that. You got to put it back on Bitcoin. BLX has a delay. 2 days, 8 hours. No, 2 days, 8 hours for this candle to update. So be watching for that. So what's that? Friday night. We have a happy Cinco de Mayo. Imagine that, Cinco de Mayo, and the Gaussian channel sends up the bat signal. Right? Good times. All right. Thanks for watching this long. If you missed half the stream and you're just joining us, catch us tomorrow. Or you can watch this back. You can watch last 2 days live streams back and fast forward where you want to see. I've talked about probably 20 different altcoins in pretty much every different video. A lot of good stuff in there to help you navigate the future markets. If you want to join our Telegram, that should be down below pretty much every video. Patreon, more content. I have a lot more interaction with my group there. Otherwise, Twitter, I do time to time post there for charts. And I'll see you on the next live stream. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you on the next one. See you on the next video. Go check out my Bitcoin video, focus on the 4-hour chart today. Just put that on YouTube as we were streaming. So I'll see you on the next one. Thanks so much for joining. I'll see you tomorrow or Friday or never again, because I don't have a video of you. You have a video of me. Right? I'll never see you. Maybe we should have a 2-way.